Nobody knows, and there's no way for them to know.
I beg to differ.
Unless you tell them.
Unless you tell them.
Not yet.
I don't know about that one.
When you vote at the precinct, or you vote by mail, there's a process there where you are identified, and then before your vote is counted, if you do vote by mail, they know whose envelope that is. And once they take it out of the envelope, there's no identifying mark, and you can go look at the ballots. I couldn't go down to the county clerk in Douglas County and find my ballot because there's no way to tell which one it is. So I just appeal to you. There is no independence in being unaffiliated, at least in Colorado, the way our system works.
Yeah.
You only get to vote one time in November, and only for the candidates that have already been decided through this process.
Is that state law, the way that works, or is it national?
That's up to each individual state. One of the things, another lesson we would say, caucus, I love caucus. Why? Because at least for the state level races, we're seeing that grassroots gets to make the call.
Yeah.
In the past couple of weeks, we've started to see for one of the big races that those decisions are being taken away from us, and that big money and big national influence is taking over. But if you live in a primary state, that's the way pretty much everything works. Right now, in the caucus state, you get to go make these decisions on your county offices, on your state house and senate offices, on most of the state races. We are starting to see money take over as far as the governor's race, and I think we'll probably see that in the U.S. Senate race. But if anybody ever comes to tell you, we've got to get rid of this caucus process. Nobody understands it. It's archaic. Nobody wants to go to it. It's confusing. We just got to get rid of it, right? No! No! Yes, sir.
What do you mean the governor's race is pretty much settled by money?
Well,
is it impossible for a grassroots effort to change that?
No, if I did say that it was pretty much
technically,
yeah,
legally and technically.
To run on a statewide campaign, you need millions of dollars because most people are not going to go do what you're going to do. Most people are going to make their decision on direct mail or television. And you need millions of dollars to do that. If you don't have millions of dollars to do that, we're not talking about grassroots activists swaying the opinion of hundreds or thousands or even tens of thousands of people. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of people. And that is a monumental task. Could it be done? Yes. If you've got $5 or $10 million, can you overcome that with TV? Yes. Yes. Krista and I, my best friend is my state senator, Ted Harvey. He's one of the more conservative members of the state legislature. My second best friend is a guy by the name of Will Armstrong. They were both on the ballot for the 6th congressional race last year. It was a tough year for me. Krista and I walked a lot of precincts for Ted because the money wasn't there. Mr. Kaufman and Mr. Armstrong brought in more money, and Kaufman won. The reality is money is so important. Anybody happy that we took corporate money out of politics?
What was that?
We didn't.
What I like to suggest is, if you get more politically involved, be sure to think about both sides of the argument. We did take a lot of corporate money out of politics. We shoved it into 527s and other things like that. But did anybody sell you on this idea? Isn't it great we took corporate money out of politics, so we all have to give more personal money? Because the cost of politics didn't go down. And if you don't give personal money, then the people who still have access to union money, groups of people who have common interests who can put small amounts of money in and that turns in. Anybody know what the most powerful association in the nation is?
AARP.
Teachers! Yay! Yeah, we'll start representing kids when kids start paying union dues. That's what they say. Albert Shanker. So, taking corporate money out, anybody here have a job? Anybody own a company or work for a company? Yeah, that's the money we're not allowed to use anymore. That's reality. So, my appeal is don't overlook the fact that if you want conservatives to win, you got to get your own personal money. And yeah, I think probably John McCain and Russ Feingold probably didn't make that a selling point on McCain-Feingold. Guess what? You get more personal money. But that's the reality. So keep that in mind. We come out of the State Assembly. The campaigns are going full speed. We get to the August primary. The Republicans vote for Republicans and Democrats vote for Democrats. Then the advertising really kicks off, and we're into the general election. And that, of course, happens in November. It says January through November because those campaigns, those big campaigns, are already going to be running. You're going to start seeing television and direct mail. You're going to start seeing that as early as January of next year. August, the primary happens. Then we're into the August and November of the even year. The candidates and supporters and primary winners are all campaigning. And then we get to the final day of the two-year election cycle, which is the first Tuesday following the first Monday in November of an even number of years. And that's the last day of the two-year cycle. And the next day, it all starts over again. And that is the two-year cycle. Thanks very much for your patience.